Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a VeVe OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. We have a Go Collect article here from Chris Severs saying the post-NFT bubble recovery will be driven by actual fandom and not hype. Hello again, digital collector fans. Article is a special feature I'm excited to share with you, which is a recent column written by VeVe Digital Collectibles CEO, Mr. David Yu, on the intersection of traditional with digital collecting. The article was originally published on September 10th by ccn.com, edited by Samantha Dunn. David's kindly accepted his request to repost it with our Go Collect community, where I hope you enjoy how technologies are significantly enhancing our world of collecting and what lies ahead. Oh yeah, took the liberty of adding a few links to some additional reading material that helps paint a broader picture in the fun times ahead. Collecting has always conjured up vivid images. Boxes of action figures still in their packaging, lined up neatly on shelves, pages of baseball cards in plastic sleeves, Pokemon as well, crates of records sitting beside a stereo, stash of old coins tucked away in a closet. But behind those nostalgic scenes are items that cost a fortune, endless searches through dusty shops and eBay listings, and excess packaging that comes with every delivery. And for many fans outside major markets, geographical restrictions add insult to injury. Collectibles in new markets. As someone who grew up collecting in New Zealand, David says, I know how hard it was to access the same collectible culture that seems so normal in the US. Finding and affording physical collectibles was nearly impossible. Collecting has been part of human culture for millennia, and the global collectibles market is expected to reach $512 billion by the end of this year. And yet, despite its longevity and value, the industry hasn't evolved in a way that solves these persistent problems of access, waste, shipping, and scalability. With the increasing pressure on companies and countries to be more climate conscious than ever, changing politics of global trade, physical collecting is beginning to show some cracks. By moving collectibles into secure, transparent, and public ledgers, we can make rare, meaningful fan items accessible to anyone, anywhere, with full authenticity and zero waste. The next evolution of NFTs. In 2017, we saw the official birth of NFTs at this time, and it seemed like this was a way to bring collecting online. But I believe NFTs created a kind of bubble, one of which those who only understood the technology and its purpose could access. The bubble appeared parallel to cryptocurrency, where both were, for a time, viewed by their small group of investors as money-making schemes. In 2025, that bubble has popped, and what's left is the foundation of something more meaningful. Many could argue that it had probably popped a couple years ago, and now what's left, or what's newer, has their chance at real legitimate business. Just as cryptocurrencies have matured, NFTs are maturing as well. We've seen the financial world evolve around blockchain through ETFs, stablecoins, and tokenized assets. Institutions now see crypto as a viable part of the modern financial system. Digital collectibles are the cultural counterpart to that financial evolution. The sustained advancement of what NFTs originally set out to do, to use blockchain to verify ownership and authenticity in a digital world. Yes, they are backed by blockchain. Yes, they exist in the digital realm. But unlike the speculative hype of early NFTs, digital collectibles are rooted in fandom, not finance. They're about making collecting smarter, more accessible, and better aligned with how people actually engage with their favorite characters, games, or stories. There's also better tech for better collecting. The connection between collecting and blockchain is natural. Collecting is about rarity, status, and authenticity, exact traits that blockchain technology was purpose-built to verify and protect. Digital collectibles use that tech to expand collecting opportunities for fans who are already the same people who would buy a comic book or go to Hobbytown or the antique store looking for stamps. Thanks to AR and VR, digital items can have more depth and creativity than physical factory manufacturing allows. Designs aren't limited by production, costs, or shipping constraints. Instead, artists and creators can build immersive, detailed pieces with features impossible to replicate physically. The metaverse also offers something meaningful here. In digital spaces, fans can connect regardless of where they live. Physical collecting also comes with real-world costs. Plastic packaging, emissions from global shipping, warehouse, overproduction, insurance. Digital collecting avoids all of that. And with modern blockchains moving toward carbon neutrality, digital merchandise becomes a more sustainable and ethical choice. Meanwhile, tariffs, material shortages, and inflation are adding to the physical accessibility issue. In the US and elsewhere, fans and IPs alike are raising concerns about quality, affordability, and supply chain reliability. Digital solves for that. There's no waiting, no shipping fees, and no risk of bent corners or custom delays. This is how we future-proof collecting. It's a new version of standing in line outside the comic store at 7 a.m. to get that limited drop, except now Anyone in the world can line up, and the rarity is guaranteed on-chain. There's digital collectible on-ramping to Web3. Of course, blockchain and crypto still have an aura of complexity. That's why digital collectibles can be a perfect on-ramp. When fans download an app that lets them buy officially licensed collectibles or the comics they already love, and that just happens to use blockchain under the hood, they're stepping into the world organically. The same principle that made ETFs an accessible entry point into investing, digital collectibles can do that for blockchain. Millions are already being onboarded this way. We're seeing a popular response from our community to phygital drops, digital items paired with physical ones, and publishers moving into licensed digital comics that can retain the rarity and value as their print counterparts. We've already seen stuff like that on VeVe from KFC, Agoro, and I'm going to get the fig pin over there. Gotta love that as well. These are clear examples of blockchain that keep the soul of collecting intact. You still get the sense of ownership, of discovery, of being able to own something others might not have, but now it's easier, greener, and finally global. Digital collectibles market is forecast to grow from about 11 billion today to more than 48 billion by 2033. People love collecting. They always have. Blockchain just gives us a better way to do it. There are a bunch of people that I've seen in the Pokemon industry, or they weren't even from the Pokemon industry. They would come in from sports, World War II memorabilia, old coins, what have you. They wouldn't care about Pokemon. They didn't understand Pokemon. All they wanted was the best of the best. They would come in, get the top trophy cards, spend a couple $100,000, $1 million maybe. That was it. They were out. Pokemon was considered at the time, half a decade ago, too new for these old school collectors that would buy things that were 80 or hundreds of years old, sometimes thousands. Coins go way back. It's insane. But digital collecting in this age, I remember an episode of Scrubs. Might be showing my age with that one. And Dr. Cox he was complaining about a young 25-year-old that said back in the day, indicating that he thought, oh, you're 25. This is your back in the day. You're living it right now. But in the age that we're in, I remember 2016, I was deployed, and we had no internet for a couple days because there was a attempted coup d'etat in Turkey and other things happened. Long story short, the Middle East had no internet on bases for a while. And when we got internet back a week later, there was those memes such as shoving breadsticks in people's purses, and then you had the Chewbacca lady mask, if anyone remembers that. And it's like, oh my God, these two things that were just everywhere as soon as I logged back online, we missed them, and they happened within a week of each other. It was like 4 days. So I feel like nowadays you have really awesome stuff that could happen. Multiple viral things happen every day. So I think we're in a space now where stuff can happen a lot quicker than it did years ago, 50, however many years ago. It's the same thing with wrestling. Wrestling back in the day, before it got televised and commercialized, it took companies several months in order to build someone up. They would have to go in, travel throughout the US or whatever country that they were in, and they would eventually, through the grapevine, people that had family in Chicago or Florida or wherever it was, they were like, yeah, I saw this one guy wrestle. He was really cool. And a year later, the guy was, the talk of the town. But on TV, you could do that in a matter of weeks. Heck, you could even do that in one episode. And I think now we're seeing that with digital, where certain things, it used to be, I think, 5 or 9 years that it took for something to stay, like Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! If it stayed for that long, it probably had the legs. But with VeVe, again, that's been around for half a decade, if we're going with the old way to measure things, it's probably already, like that SpongeBob episode, halfway there. Oh, would love it if we can get SpongeBob on here. And which we might get because we have Paramount. But there are going to be people that are going to come in and be like, I don't know what to get. I don't understand this. And they'll contact someone like me or whoever else is big into VeVe. And they'll say what do I buy that's the best of the best? Or they take the opposite route, be like, oh, there's a token underpinning this entire thing. It's called OMI. Buy me $1 million worth. And obviously that would take, if you're in America, probably a good 2 weeks to be able to go in and buy, because there's not a lot of, was there $100,000 in volume a day on these DEXs? And you can't really access the other markets or exchanges where you can get OMI because they're not available to Americans. So yeah, $1 million might take 2 weeks in order to get in without pumping the price. That being said, maybe some people will full clip it and they don't care about the price because they think anything in the triple zeros is very bullish to get at. And okay, fair point. I believe that too. Do we go to the quad zeros? I don't know. Like, where do we go to first? Do we go back to double zeros or quad zeros? Either could happen because it's crypto and it could go crazy. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. I'm at 320-ish million OMI now. I think before the end of the year, I'd like to get up to 400, even 500 million, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. And everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, meow.